All right, welcome back. Again, I'm Odell Horn, president of the North Georgia Conference United Methodist Men. I'm here with Dr. Simon Aderibigbe, who is a professor of religion at the University of Georgia, but he's also the director of the African Studies Institute. Dr. Aderibigbe, talk to us about the African Studies Institute at the University of Georgia.
Please let me make a correction. I'm not the director of African Studies. I am the associate director of African Studies. The director of African Studies is Dr. Akinloye Ojo, who is the current director, but currently I serve as the associate director. And the African Studies Institute began quite some time ago as a way of bringing Africa into the University of Georgia because of the mission of University of Georgia in order to prioritize studies about Africa. So the African Studies Institute today is an institute that draws faculty across the campus to be able to teach various aspects of Africa. And then we have faculty who are affiliated to the institute from almost every college at the University of Georgia. Currently, we have just two programs that we are running at the African Studies. One is the certificate in African Studies, and the second is the minor in African Studies. As I'm speaking to you now, we are working on what we call the BA, that is the first degree curriculum in African Studies. We are hoping that very soon we'll be able to offer BA in Bachelor of Arts in African Studies. We are equally working on what we call the postgraduate studies in African Studies, so that those who have graduated and just want a certificate, postgraduate certificate in African Studies, can actually come and study and get more knowledge about Africa. But the good thing concerning the minor in African Studies is that he affords students of whatever discipline in the University of Georgia to take a minor in African Studies, so that they will have a very deeper knowledge of Africa. And for many of them who are interested in working in Africa, at the conclusion of their program, that will serve as a very good background for them to be able to take that position. So that is about African Studies Institute.
Now, your specialty, and we'll get more into this in our discussion, but just for this segment, before we take a break, your specialty is traditional African religions, correct?
Yes.
All right, tell me a little bit, just give me a little bit of teaser before we go to a break about traditional African religions.
Yes, African traditional religion is actually the indigenous religion of Africa. This was the religion that was on the continent of Africa before the advent of other religions. Today, we claim to have three religious traditions on the African continent. That is the African indigenous religion, which is otherwise called African traditional religion, Christianity, and Islam. But of course, with the incoming of Christianity and Islam, African traditional religions practice has been greatly and drastically reduced. But that does not mean it is not yet present. It is present, and it is still being practiced in quite, particularly in East Africa and West Africa. In North Africa, you find very little of the practice of African traditional religion. One thing I want to also clear before we go on, there are some scholars who want to call it African traditional religions, in the sense that they would think that each ethnic group in Africa has its own religion. But my own argument and my own position is that as long as there are some basic elements that cut across all those ethnic groups, then you can actually have a central African traditional religion with, of course, what we can call diversity in method, diversity in practice. My argument usually is that, yes, even in Christianity, there are many denominations. We can because there are many denominations in Christianity, then begin to call Christianity Christianities. It is still Christianity with different denominations. So African traditional religion is a religion that cut across every ethnic group, but approached differently and practiced differently because of the diversity and because of the geographical wideness of Africa. So that is African traditional religion. And as I've said, it is a religion that grew with the people. It's not a religion that you can say there is a founder. There's no founder of African traditional religion. It came out as the result of the human experience of their environment and the fact that they came to realize that everything that is created is not created by humans. And when they look at that and they look at that experience, they want to say, well, these things are created. We are not the one who created them. There must be a higher being, if you want to put it that way, or what they refer to as a supreme being who is responsible for the creation of the universe as well as the creation of man. And this is what you find in the various myths of Africa, African mythological narratives, telling us about, and we usually refer to those ones as the African cosmology and African ontology. African cosmology is about the creation of the universe and everything in it. African ontology is the creation of man and the relationship between humans and the spiritual world.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Aderibigbe. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Christianity and colonialism, post-colonialism, the African indigenous church, European missionaries, and we'll do that on the other side of this break.